Hello friends, it's Christy Marcotte. I recently shared a video where I made a few cards using Paper Rose's Inky Antics 1.0 collection. I thought I would use the same collection, but this time make a couple of Christmas cards. Here are some of the die sets I'll be using. These are all by Paper Rose. There's Christmas Baubles, Presents, and also Big Joy. For my first card, I have some white shimmer cardstock. I'll add a couple of Love from Lizi peel-offs to the very bottom portion of this paper. These are the silver mirror color in the pinstripe style. I have the widest width and also the medium width. This is an easy way to add a little extra shine without any extra dimension. I'll wrap the ends around the back just to make sure they won't fall off later. I'll be layering this panel on some dark green cardstock. And I believe this is the Jade color by Basil. All of my cards in this video are American Standard A2 size, so 5.5 inches by 4.25 inches. I'll put my card front onto a card base. Now I have all of these pieces already cut out. I use the pattern paper for the word joy. I try to focus it mostly on the greens, but there's a little bit of red and I think that looks really fun. So it has green, red, and white for the sentiment. I also have 3 of the presents. I cut out 1 of the larger size and 2 of the smaller size. I'm adding some red bows and that'll just tie in with that little bit of red on the pattern paper. I'll adhere the largest present down first, putting it center on the card, using Barely Art liquid adhesive to adhere everything down. I did put my acrylic block on top for some extra weight. Once that glue adheres, those pieces won't be coming off. Then I'll add both of the small presents on the right and left of that larger present. And I used some pearlescent cardstock for those smaller presents. This is also a Basil cardstock color. It's Atlantis. Next, I'll attach the sentiment. I'm starting with the letter O so I can get it centered on the card. Next, I'll attach the letter J. And instead of putting that sentiment straight across, I decided to put it at a curve. Finally, I'll add the letter Y, and the Y is quite a bit wider than the J, so it does look a little off, but it is nice and centered. For final finishing touch, I decided to add a stitched star die cut to the center of the O, and I did put a thin foam square on the back side so it would pop up slightly. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. I love paper collections that you can use for any card theme. And the colors in Inky Antics are so beautiful. So moving on to card number 2. I have some more white shimmer cardstock for the background, and I'll do the same thing, add a couple of Love from Lizi peel-offs at the very bottom portion of the card. I have the background panel lined up on my craft mat so I can get those peel-offs nice and straight across the card. So I'll just wrap those ends around the back. For this card, I'm using the medium and the narrowest width. So I'll add that second piece and wrap those ends around the back. I'll be layering this panel on some black cardstock. Then I'll add my card front onto a card base. The background panel for this card is 4 1/8 inch by 5 3/8 of an inch, and then just another 1/8 of an inch for that black cardstock panel. For the first card, the background panel was slightly smaller. It was 4 inches by 5.25 inches. For the image on the card, I'll be adding lots of fun green and blue ornaments, or baubles as the set is called. I love the variety of sizes and styles of ornaments, and I think they look beautiful with that pattern paper. I laid them out on the panel first. When I like the arrangement, I can start attaching them using some liquid adhesive. I think the ornaments will look beautiful in any color. For both of my Christmas cards, I decided to mostly use green though. There are 9 different ornament dies and I used 1 of each for my card. I think this makes such a fun background. Super easy, so you could create multiples if you don't mind doing a little extra gluing. So I'll just attach that final ornament in the upper left-hand corner. For the sentiment, this is one of Paper Rose's sentiment sheets. It's Crisp Christmas. There are lots of sentiment cut-aparts included in this pack that you can easily mix and match. I decided to use Merry Christmas to You and Yours, and I'll glue those down using some liquid adhesive. I decided for both of the cards not to add a lot of extra dimension. That way I won't have to pay additional postage if I decide to mail the cards. The Christmas Bauble set also includes a die to cut out 9 of the tiny metal bands for the top of the ornament. And I cut these out from some silver mirror cardstock. Now these are super tiny. You could just pass on them. I think the ornament looks fine without it, but I like that extra little shine. I'm using an embellishment wand to pick those up, adding a drop of liquid adhesive and placing them on top of the ornament. I saved some of the cutout dots from that ornament on the left, and I'm using them for embellishments on the card. Putting 2 of them in the upper right hand corner and 3 in the lower left hand corner around the sentiment. I like how there's all the different sizes and they're slightly different colors as well. So there's my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. Now I want to make a similar card featuring pink ornaments. Now here's another look at the 4 cards I made using Paper Rose's Inky Antics 1.0 6x6 paper collection. This collection is also available in the 12x12 size. I do have links provided in the description box if you are interested in any of the items I showed in this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.